Hey everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. I want to talk about what brokers I prefer, what my favorite brokers are. I know you see me post a lot about Robinhood, and when I use my other videos, I'm kind of all across the boards. My favorite brokerages are TD Ameritrade, the Thinkorswim platform, and then Tastyworks. And it's not all about pricing either. Otherwise, if it was about pricing, everyone would be on Robinhood because it's free options trading. But for TD Ameritrade and for Tastyworks, I think that they have the most bang for your buck. I mean, their pricing is competitive, but their platforms are far superior. Now, you could say like, hey, they were made by the same people. Yes, the people that made Tastyworks also made the Thinkorswim platform. They did sell it to them, and then they spun off and after their non-compete agreement and made Tastyworks. So I'll give you that, but they are completely different, the platforms, but I'll just kind of go over it. First, we'll start with the fees here. As you can see here, TD Ameritrade is a behemoth of a platform. I mean, they have so many investment products. I mean, Tastyworks, they just focus on options and options trading. Yes, you can buy and sell stock on it, but they mainly focus on options trading. Like you can't on Tastyworks, you can't trade future options or anything like that. Like TD Ameritrade, you could trade Forex, you could trade futures, future options. They now on select like SPY, you could trade 24/5 now on TD Ameritrade. So they're a much bigger platform because they're multinational bank. They're big in the U.S., big in Canada. But as you can tell, because they're so big, their fees are super expensive. And as you can see here, for an options trade, you're going to pay, if you were to sign up for an account right now, non-promotional, like if you were just to go click sign up right now, it costs you $6.95 per trade plus 75 cents a contract, which is ridiculous. That's a lot of money. So if you trade a lot, like if you don't put a lot of option trades on, it's not a big deal. But for people that have small accounts, and people that want to trade daily or like 3 to 4 times a week, I mean, this $6.95 fee for opening and closing is really going to eat away at your profits. I have on TD Ameritrade, I have $1 per contract and no opening or closing costs, mainly because of the volume that I did, and also I told them that I was going to switch over to Tastyworks if they didn't reduce my fee, and they reduced it to instead of 75 cents per contract, I pay $1 per contract open and close. And $0 commission fee. So there's one way about going about that. So I'll probably do a video on how you can lower your commissions through TD Ameritrade because the platform is great. I just feel like it's very, very expensive. On Tastyworks now, as you can see here, then the new kids on the block, they're the cool ones. They're trying to take everyone's business, and they do a great job. Their platform has been super stable, no complaints there. When they first came out, I've been a day one customer. I was first invited on the first day that it launched. I've been trading on there, and they had a lot of bugs, but they've really worked out those bugs, and it really hasn't had that many issues with the app crashing or anything like that. Things have been really, really stable. And as you can see here, compared to TD Ameritrade, it's $1 per contract, so and no closing costs. So you're just paying $1 per contract, but you don't pay closing costs. So let's say if you have like one contract, it's really 50 cents for open and close because you're not paying any fees. And this is a plus of applicable fees. That's like a 10 cents closing charge on behalf of some of the exchanges. Depending on what they have. They have a list of the fees here if you're interested in that. I don't really trade too much stock, but they do have cheaper commissions than TD Ameritrade. Stocks here was $6.95, $5 here. But for options, I'll pretty much focus on options here. And this is for small accounts. And I think Tastyworks, the people that made Tastyworks, they really want you with small accounts to learn how to invest and really invest more and more frequently. So with $1 a contract, you really can't compete with that. With the platform, you could say, hey, Robinhood offers free commissions, but their platform really does not compare to Tastyworks' platform. It's not even close. And on top of that, they have cap commissions. So if you buy 100 calls or puts, it used to cost you $100, so $1 per contract. Now they capped it at $10. So if you bought 20 calls, it would cost you $10. If you bought 30 calls, it would cost you $10. So they cap it at $10. It's per leg. So as you can see here, vertical spreads are 2 legs, so it's going to cost you 20 for 100. Iron condors are 4 legs, so it's going to cost you 40. But if you take a look at that, I mean, that's incredible savings from where they used to charge 400, now they charge 40. Used to charge 200, now they charge 20. So I mean, I don't know how they did this or why they did this. I mean, they definitely didn't have to cut this much for it to be enticing. They could have just cut in half, but I mean, they're cutting it by like 90% here. And you know, they give you some apples to apples comparison here. You know, from a one lot, this is what it will cost you with Tastyworks versus the other guys, and you can kind of go through this on your own time. This is all on their website. But you know, for people that are trading bigger and people that have small accounts, I mean, their commission fees, you know, it's discouraging. It's discouraging when you trade a lot, you have a lot of winning trades and you're trading, and then you go look back in your account. I think 1 year I spent almost 10 grand on TD Ameritrade just in commissions. That, hey, that would have been a lot nicer in my bank account than giving it to TD Ameritrade. Yes, they gave me the platform to make profit. Yes, they gave me this, so you know, you really can't get around that. But Tastyworks, they're putting more money into your pocket, and then unless you can get TD Ameritrade to lower their commissions, which they most likely will, if you trade on there and you say, hey, I've been trading a lot, I'm thinking about switching over to Tastyworks, I'll do an in-depth video on this and how to phrase it to lower your commissions on TD Ameritrade later. But you know, this is a great savings. You know, you're gonna be keeping a lot more money from your profitable trades, and you'll lose less when you have a losing trade. So all around, you know, it's going to cost you less to trade on Tastyworks, even if you get the $1 for opening, for $1 for closing. You know, it's going to cost you $1 all around, maybe like $1.10 all around. And on TD Ameritrade, if you get it lower to $1 a contract, it's going to cost you $2. So you're still saving 50% on Tastyworks. So for newer traders, I definitely recommend Tastyworks. I actually will have a link below if you want to go sign up. Please use my link. I definitely would appreciate that for doing this video. But I will walk you through some of the basics of what I like on Tastyworks and Thinkorswim. Yet no platform is perfect, but that's kind of the cost comparison. This is, you know, there's some great savings here, and these are both great platforms that I really enjoy using. You know, from a standpoint here for your portfolio, if you kind of take a look here, you know, Tastyworks really keeps the positions nice and clean. I like to see red or green, what's, you know, open and closed. You know, I realized some gains today. You know, I really like that. And if I look at TD Ameritrade, it's a little bit more cluttered. Still nice, but you can kind of see how it. Let's see here for Square, you know, it kind of gets kind of muddied up, and that's not a good example. I think GS, I closed some stuff out today on this account, so you know, you can kind of see what's going on here. The one thing I do prefer about Thinkorswim is that you can kind of section these off into groups. So if hey, I want to section off this GS call that I bought, and I can change it to stock, and you can kind of section these off. So it's like, let's say, because this was a losing trade that I'm just holding, it's like worthless now. But if you go to here and you go to move to group, I can add a group and call it losers. Or whatever you want to do. But it's really nice to be able to split up your holdings here. On this view, you really just get everything here. The one thing that I do like is on Tastyworks, as soon as you click on a symbol, it takes you to that and automatically changes that up here, and you can see the IV rank and all that right here. GS has got an IV rank of, I mean, it's barely 0.1. It's really nice to put an IV rank on that. For Thinkorswim, let's get the yearly chart here. Thinkorswim, to get the IV rank, this is how the IV rank is. It's 42. Let's see what they say Square is right here, 30. So, you know, there's some differences here, and to get this little bar here, you have to go through the studies and add the study, implied volatility study to your chart here. I do like also on Tastyworks, it shows if you open up this little panel here, it'll show you some of your recent trades over the last. You can kind of see if you want the last 30 days what trades you had on that particular stock. Really quick, easy to find. And you can see like how you've been performing on this and if it's been going well. The one thing that I really don't like about Tastyworks is their charting. I mean, the charts aren't very good. And, you know, you can do what you need to do here, but they only have like one view. You can zoom in, zoom out. You know, you can change it, but they don't allow you to have multiple grids or anything like that. You know, Tastyworks, I think they really have the chart game on lock here. You know, you can have multiple. You can change the grid. Let's see here. You know, you can customize the grid. You can add something to the side. You can add something here. You can remove stuff. You know, whatever you need to do. Tastyworks makes it really easy to view multiple charts at one time. I'm sorry, Thinkorswim makes it easy to use, you know, view multiple charts at one time. Thinkorswim really not that nice in for charting. So for charting, even for Robinhood, when I trade on Robinhood, I always use Thinkorswim charts. Thinkorswim charts are the best that's going to be out there. They're the best platform out there for charting. You know, E-Trade's pretty good too, but for overall platform for options, I like Thinkorswim. So, you know, this is one of the biggest drawbacks for Tastyworks. The other, I mean, I really do like, you know, the IB rank up here, and then on these, you know, the trade grid. The trade grid's pretty much the same, but for newer traders, you know, the trade grids are pretty much the same here. On the right hand side here, as you can see for Thinkorswim and Tastyworks, it calculates the volatility and also, you know, the plus or minus, what's the implied move. The one thing that I do think has the upper hand, let's go to something that has earnings tonight. I think Snapchat has earnings tonight. You'll see there's a 230% here. The one thing I do like is that you can't really see it that well, but this says August 7th, which is today. Tastyworks on their trade grid, they highlight what date they have earnings. So you can, if you're not really familiar with the stock or you're just looking things up, they actually put the earnings date on here. Let's try to find something that has earnings coming up. Does NVIDIA? They already had oh yeah, NVIDIA. So this is a little bit better. So NVIDIA has earnings August 16th. So definitely it helps out if you're trying to keep track of all these stocks, you don't know when the earnings are, where you may not put a trade on if earnings is coming up versus, or you might put a different trade on, you know, after earnings or before earnings. So you know earnings for options trading always kind of screws you up, or you might put on a certain position if you know earnings is coming up, or if today's earnings, you might put on a different position. So that's very helpful. Thinkorswim doesn't have that, as you can see here. If you go to Snap, doesn't tell you when earnings are, just tells you the percentage here. So you could easily make a trade on this not knowing earnings was today. And you know, like I say, for newer traders, always check when earnings are, because you could potentially lose out big, or you know, not have the right position on for what earnings is. The other thing that I do like here in Tastyworks is they highlight this plus $2 move in this orange bar here. It's the implied move. So it's implying that it's going to go up or down $2.22, and this is what this is. Just a nice visual graph. It kind of shows you on here, versus Tastyworks doesn't really have that. I mean, Thinkorswim doesn't really have that. Tastyworks, you know, highlights that. It's pretty nice and clean on that. The other thing that I like about the Tastyworks platform is you can just click and add your legs, or they also allow you to you know, have a strategy here, and you can kind of customize this the way you want. So if you wanted a short put vertical on Snap, you could just click on go, and then you can kind of align that, and down here you can hit up or down. The other thing that I like about it is you can kind of drag it. You can drag the width, so it's really easy. Say if I want this 1312 or I want this 1311, you can kind of drag that. On Thinkorswim, not that easy. Like I have to, if I left click it, it's going to automatically select that. I'm not going to be able to add another leg here. And then if you want to sell a vertical put spread like I just did, you can do that pretty easily. But then you have to go into here, instead of, you know, dragging and dropping here, you have to go into here and change the legs to like 11. You know, which is not a big deal, you know, but you know, it is faster when you're trying to put an order together fast. It's really easy. Like if you know the strategy, let's say I just want to sell this and I want to buy this, really fast and easy on Tastyworks platform. So I really like that you can do that. Also for newer traders, they have something called the curve. I don't really use this because I prefer the table, because I like to see all the option pricing, how it comes in. But if you're just getting started, the curve is a very nice way to drag and drop things on here. So if you go to, let's do a short put vertical again on this, just hit go. And the nice thing about this, it'll tell you where you're going to make money. Nice visual graph will show you where you'll start losing money. So you'll say, okay, I need it above, you know, this 12, whatever it is, 1240, 1250 here to be profitable. And then you can kind of play around with what you want that to be. Obviously, this is geared towards the beginning trader and to get more of a feel for options trading. But it's really easy to, to navigate and to view how this is going to go. So if you wanted to go like 1 standard deviation out, you can do that. And it'll show you where your potential profit is. So you're outside the expected move. You want standard deviation out, you're going to get 9 cents credit for this. You're going to lose 41. So Tastyworks has a really nice platform for, just to get a look on one screen here. And if you look here at the P50, it shows you what your probability of getting 50% profit is, 83%. That's nice. So Tastyworks doesn't have, Thinkorswim doesn't have any of that. You just kind of have to know what you're doing and trading the options on here already. Like I said, Tastyworks is geared towards more the newer trader, but with the table format that they came out with, they make it accessible for anybody to trade options here. So, those are just some of the quick things that I wanted to point out, and some of the reasons why I use Tastyworks and Thinkorswim primarily to trade options on. I do a lot of Robinhood, but I don't primarily trade options on there as aggressively. I buy some things, and most of the time when I buy something on Robinhood, I've done all my research on Tastyworks or Thinkorswim, and I just execute the order on Robinhood when I want to trade on there. So, if you have any questions or if I left anything out, feel free to leave a comment below. Definitely, if this video was of value to you, hit the subscribe button, and please like the video.